Welcome back to Hannity. So the FBI has released a disturbing new warning ahead of the grand jury decision out of Ferguson that reads in part, quote, the announcement of the grand jury's decision will likely be exploited by some individuals to justify threats and attacks against law enforcement and critical infrastructure. Now, this statement comes as new reports surface that one group has put a bounty on the head of Officer Darren Wilson. And as New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani pointed out last night right here in this program, it should be that he, like everyone else, is innocent until proven guilty. Watch this.
You know what really kills me? All these civil rights people who are used to always argue, you know, grand juries make snap decisions and you have to have rights for the accused and people have to be presumed innocent when they commit violent murders or rape or... What about police? Why isn't he presumed innocent?
It's a great question.
Where are the civil rights groups demanding civil rights for the accused police officer?
Here now with reaction, the executive director and general counsel for the National Association of Police Organizations, Bill Johnson. Justice for Mike Brown founder Dirk Brown and former NYPD Detective Bo Dietl. Guys, good to see you all. Dirk, let me start with you. We have these organizations. Number one, there's a bounty on the head of Darren Wilson. You've got reports all over the place that these groups have literally targeted, if they don't get the decision they want from the grand jury, how they're going to react, and they have specific targets that they want to hit. How does that make you feel? Maybe you want justice for Michael Brown, but if they do that, is that justice for Michael Brown targeting Boeing and targeting, you know, innocent people and innocent businesses and cops?
I mean, I saw what happened, and I didn't put that. Well, I read what happened on the article, and a lot of people messaged the page on the page that got made up on the Justice for Mike Brown. And they told me what they said on the article and everything they said is a completely lie.
I asked you a question. Did you hear my question? I'm asking you, what about these groups that have a bounty on the head of this man? What about those groups organizing to agitate when this decision comes down, if it doesn't come down the way they want it to come down?
I mean, I see that they should take it a different way. I mean, it shouldn't be like that at all. I mean, everybody wants justice for Mike Brown, as we can all see, but...
Okay, but what if...
They got a bounty...
There are leaks from the grand jury. These leaks say that there are witnesses. Remember, we keep hearing this is an unarmed black teen shot by a white cop. There are witnesses, according to leaks, they turn out to be true, and I have sources that corroborate that, in fact, that has been testified before the grand jury, telling me that black eyewitnesses corroborate the cop's story. Now, if he doesn't end up getting indicted because eyewitnesses back up the cop's story, well, is that justice for Mike Brown?
I mean, I don't think it is, but I mean, you got to remember...
You don't think it is, but you weren't there and I wasn't there, right? Neither one of us know for sure. We're just going by the testimony of others.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. So what do you make of this?
Well, you know, this is something that we have a jury system. We have a court system, and that's what we have. We have peers. People are going to make a decision. They're going to hear all the true evidence. They're not going to hear hearsay. They're not going to hear he said that. They're going to hear actual facts of what happened. And this is like saying those two cops, remember Staten Island, two detectives that were shot by this guy? Well, we should take the guy that shot those two cops and killed them in Staten Island, take him out of the jail and hang him up and string him high. This is not the Wild West here, Sean. This is justice. We have to wait for the justice system to react. We know one thing, Sean.
But the president rushed to judgment. The president sent 3 White House reps to this guy's funeral.
You had the attorney general. Well, how many? I think there was 380 cops killed last year across the United States. When was the Justice Department? When did Holder send anybody to respect to the families of these cops that were killed? There was, I think, 360 or 70 or 80 cops were killed across this country. And where is their rights? You know what? The problem right now is you have agitators that are just waiting for an excuse to steal, to set fires, to riot. You know what it's all about? Then we got this guy here from New York running out there. We used to call him Fat Al. Now he's Skinny Al Sharpton. And he's running. That's his job. His job is to jump up and down. He has the ear of the president. He has the ear of Holder. He has the ear of Big Bird de Blasio here in New York, that they're destroying this city. Our cops are handcuffed in this city. And now what's going to happen is justice, whatever the grand jury will come, if it's an indictment or not, that's not the end of it. It's a thing called trial, where you get a jury 12 people
All it
will
is
decide.
probable cause.
Right.
Bill Johnson, let's get your reaction to the position that the police are in and the inappropriateness of a president and attorney general. I would argue raising the hopes of people that they're going to get the decision that they want without any facts being laid out before that point. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think it's very important to realize the situation, not just police, but the individual officer in this case, Officer Wilson. He's a man of flesh and blood. I can't even imagine the pressure that he and his family feel themselves under at this point. His comrades, the people who work with him on the Ferguson department, as well as in St. Louis County. To answer your question, yeah, it's been a source of concern, I know, to our association and to officers across the country to see some of the actions by the Department of Justice in this case, by the Federal Department of Justice. It seemed to us that they jumped in very early, kind of went off half-cocked, really listening to allegations that were horrible. When you look at an allegation that Michael Brown was basically assassinated on the street with his hands up, that allegation is awful, but it's an allegation. That's all it is. And I think almost immediately...
Have you heard the same reports that I have, the same reports that have been leaked about the grand jury, that witnesses say, no, that's not true, that Michael Brown struggled for the gun originally when the cop was still in the car? I mean, there's two scenarios here. There is a possibility that the White House, rushing to judgment, sent 3 White House representatives in a case where a guy might have struggled for a gun in an attempt to kill an officer. That's what's wrong with rushing to judgment, isn't it?
Well, our concern with the White House in particular and the Department of Justice is that they didn't send investigators only, they sent prosecutors right off the bat. And
it's amazing.
You also have the injuries. The injuries on this officer are consistent with him getting beat up. Now, you know what the problem is? Now you have the audacity, people, a bounty, a $5,000 bounty on this officer's life.
Where's the person that put that money up? Because isn't that a terroristic threat? Isn't that against the law?
You know what? The Attorney General should be prosecuting these punks that are putting this $5,000 bounty up.
We'll have more of this panel right after the break.